Negativity, nastiness, gossips, too much noise, horrible people, traffic, nosy neighbours. How do you keep all of that stuff out of your life? Do you want to? I'll reverse the question because it sounds really silly. Do you want to have nasty neighbours? Do you want to have loud noise? Do you want to have traffic? Do you want to have horrible gossiping, criticising, negative people in your life? And I'm pretty sure the answer is no. So I'm standing here. This is a really interesting spot. When we first moved out here on our 20 acres, we were the first people here for about 3 years. So it was just us. We've now got some neighbours. Now, they're a long way away. They're probably half a kilometre, if not more, away. But we've got them now on all sides. Obviously, people who live in a house have lights on. They have things going on in their house, and so do we. So I created several barriers for each of our neighbours. So I got the earth mover in. Greg's such a cool guy because he loves being a digger man. And Greg the digger man has come and built literal barriers, walls, there's a couple behind me, to block my neighbours. Because I want to see the mountain. It's a beautiful mountain, and we are surrounded 360 by beautiful snow-capped mountains in the winter. And I don't want to see other people's houses and the way they live and their washing on the line and their television and all that stuff. And, some people have lots of cars in their yard and rubbish in their yard, and I don't want to see it. So I created a barrier to stop that view. So all I can see from every single one of my windows in my home and out when I'm outside in the yard is I can only see my yard because I've created barriers to stop the negativity, the noise, the other view coming into my life. But shouldn't that be a great analogy for don't let negativity into your life? What are you doing to stop it from coming in? Because the world has got a lot of negativity. If you go looking for it, you'll find it. And that's why I always share with people, and of course you can live your life however you want to, but I would never have the radio on because the radio sometimes has lovely music, sometimes not so lovely. And I'll just give you a quick example for that, the reason I'm using that today. We have a farm truck that when you reverse, the radio comes on automatically. I've even asked the mechanic to stop that from happening, and he doesn't know how to do it. So when I reverse my truck, the radio comes on. I can't turn it down, I can't turn it off. I know that sounds really bizarre, but I just can't. And yesterday when I reversed my truck, a song came on the radio. The lyrics were so filthy and so disgusting, sung by a person who is loved by lots of little girls, because I have little girls in my life who say to me, I love listening to this particular singer. The song was filth. It was absolute disgusting filth. I stopped the car and got out of the car, waited for the song to finish before I got back in the car because I had to reverse the car. I don't want to listen to rubbish. I won't put it into my life, which is why I don't listen to the radio. I haven't, I think now for 20 or maybe 30 years. I just don't listen to other people's music, other people's opinions. I don't want to listen to ads. I'll tell you about ads, what I really hate about ads on television, ads on the radio, any kind of advertisement. They're not true. They're people pretending to tell you that they love this product, that they use this product, that you should buy this product and use it, but they're getting paid to tell you that. To me, that's just a huge, big fake, and I don't want that in my life. So yes, on my social media, I buy premium so I don't have to listen to the ads. What's really interesting now, though, is, of course, if you listen to a podcast or you listen to most things that are on a platform on social media now, the actual person that's doing the talking, the creator, will be giving you ads you don't even want to hear. I can't stand it, and I'm sharing that with you as an old lady. I don't want to buy the product that you tell me to buy. If I want something, I'll go and do the research and find out what it is that I want and why I want to buy it. Now, I can't stop advertising. I'm not going to try. But I'm not going to bring that negativity into my life. I'm just not. I don't watch television because I just think I love watching movies and I love good television, but I don't like all the other stuff that comes with it. The ads, I can't stand. I really can't stand the news, and there's a big reason for that. In the defence of the news, as I always share, they have to give you bad news. No one is interested in good news. If the news that you turn on at 6 o'clock, the reporter said, it's been a beautiful day, everyone's happy, everyone's got a beautiful home, they've got plenty to eat, there's been no natural disasters, all the governments of the world are working well, and life is amazing. nobody would watch the news. And it's been really interesting in my old age to watch how the news has changed. It used to be one person reporting what happened today, and it used to be a man wearing a suit, and they would talk without any kind of adjective, without any kind of drama. But now if you watch the news, and I just don't for this reason, everything's about drama and challenge and hassle and trauma, and this is the hottest day we've had in the last 25 years. Well, because I'm a very old lady, I've had some very hot days. This is the worst rain we've had in 30 years. I've seen worse rain. I don't want to hear how bad things are. Now that's, some people say, Rowie, you're unrealistic and you have to listen to what's going on in the world. The reason I'm sharing this with you is there's two reasons why people get stressed, and I'm sure you've heard many people share with you how stressed they are. You might have even said it yourself, I'm really stressed. We get stressed about things we have no control over, and we get stressed about things that we have complete control over. To me, that's just a ridiculous statement. If I have no control over it, why would I stress about it? I can't do anything about it, which is most of the news reports. I can't do anything about that, so I'm not going to stress about it. If I can do something about it, why would I stress about it? I'm just going to go and do something about it. So if somebody shares with me that there's been a bushfire in my area, or there's been a flood in my area, or there's somebody that doesn't have enough to eat in my area, I will go and do something about it. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm going to go and do something. If it's something I've got no control over, I'm not going to bring that into my life. It doesn't add any value to my life. And again, I will repeat this over and over. Everybody can live their life the way they want to. But one of the biggest challenges we've got in the world now is depression in children, anxiety in children, children taking antidepressant drugs, mind-altering drugs with horrific, and I'm going to use the word for a reason, horrific side effects because they're stressed and depressed and anxious. Why are our kids stressed and depressed and anxious? Look at this beautiful day. Today in New Zealand it's a public holiday. Kids are out riding their bikes, climbing mountains, water skiing, rock climbing, playing, doing stuff outside in the fresh air and sunshine and doing. I always have a giggle because I'm in the generation where at the beginning of the day my parents threw me outside and said, don't come back until it gets dark. And you had to entertain yourself. You had to ride your bike. You had to build tree houses. You had to go and find people to play with. You had to go outside and do cool stuff because you were outside. Now we've got kids who are depressed and anxious and unhappy. Because let's just look at, for instance, they might not listen to the radio or watch television, but what if they're playing a computer game? I look at the computer games that kids are playing because I have a lot of kids in my life now from our martial arts school. And what they're playing is killing and murdering and wars and armed combat, and they're little children taking this negative stuff into their lives, and I just think it's really sad. I can't do anything about it. People are going to do. I can't stress about that because parents are going to let their kids do what parents let their kids do. But here's what I am going to do, and I'm giving you this challenge if you're like me. I want to be the living, breathing example of happy, healthy, fit, strong, lean, energetic, optimistic finder, solution finder, positive person. If anybody looks into my life, particularly small children, that's the kind of person I want them to see. I want them, when they engage to me, to only get positivity and fun and happiness and good questions and learning and growing and solution finding and critical thinking, not wars and murders and car crashes and droughts and floods and horrible things happening in the world. I want our kids to know that if there is a challenge in the world, they can fix it. And it's one of my new favourite quotes because I have so many children in our world. We can't change the future for our kids, but we can make sure that our kids are strong for the future. Me as an individual person, I can't control the war that's happening and in my life there's been wars in the Middle East, there's been wars in Eastern Europe, there's been wars in Vietnam and Asia, there's been wars in Africa, there's been wars and obviously the horrible, nasty, terrible things that go on with war. But the only reason you ever know about that stuff is if you watch the news. I can't do anything about it, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to fill my brain with horrible stuff when I can be outside in the fresh air and sunshine with my puppy dogs, the people that I love. I can be in my garden getting puffed and creating more energy. And if I've got more energy, then people can look into my life and say, there's an old lady, look at her. She's healthy, fit and strong. She's had a career that she's loved her entire life. She's been financially free for a very long time. She's got only beautiful people in her inner circle, and she lives her life to the max. I want to be the living example of living your life to the max. Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life to the max. And I've cut off the neighbours with heels. Check out my man-made heels that have cut off the neighbours. Woohoo!